Welcome to the Fall Turf Festival at Gulfstream Park West. Ron Nicoletti along with Katie Stazak, and we have a 10-race card on tap today. We're going to start the day with a good turf course, fast main track, but a good turf course. Had some rain yesterday afternoon, so the turf course, as I mentioned, listed as good. But they nailed the Rainbow Six yesterday. They got it for about $23,000. So it's starting anew today in race number 5. Races 5 through 10, just a 20-cent wager, and somebody luckily got it for $23,000 yesterday, Katie.
Pretty nice, and they nailed the super high 5 as well in the last race, so we're going to start again with that rolling wager right here in the first race.
Yeah, and you know, before we get into our card, one, we want to remind you, if you're at a simulcast place somewhere, either here or at Gulfstream Park West or wherever, don't forget we got the Maryland Million today up there in Laurel, and it is a fun card, and we got our top rider up there, Tyler Gaffalione, riding up there.
As well as our top trainer, Ralph Nix. He is saddling his first ever horse at Laurel for the Maryland Million.
Well, now let's see what's tweeting around the country. And the first one, a pretty nice story, I think.
This is a wonderful story. I read this on the TDN the other day, and if you have the chance to read it, please do. There's a fantastic organization getting started that's pairing veterans with PTSD with retired thoroughbreds, and it's a therapeutic program where they learn to deal with issues in regular society through analogies related to horses. It's very therapeutic. They're doing a lot of studies, and it's really seeming to benefit the veterans. I love the coverage of this, so if you get a chance, go read this story. It's a great cause.
And you know, we mentioned Laurel today, the Maryland Million today, and it's going to be a fun day up there. And let's look at this second tweet, and horse we got going up there today, Ralph Nix, as we mentioned.
Yep, like I mentioned, Ralph Nix going to be saddling his first ever horse at Laurel today in the Maryland Million. They've got Can't Explain in the ladies today. She's the second choice. She won the Wasted Tears Stake here in South Florida over at Gulfstream, and looking to score another win today. Tyler Gaffalione going to be riding, traveling up there today, and he's also got a mount in the Maryland Million Classic aboard a horse for Jonathan Shepard.
Yeah, I was looking at that 120-1, but Tyler Gaffalione might be one that you want to bet. He's been riding in such great form. And the last one, another story from the TDN, I believe.
Yeah, let's take a look at this tweet here. This isn't quite a story, but TDN helping to promote the Thoroughbred Makeover. This is a fantastic event. It's a really big competition. $100,000 up for grabs.
I like that.
It's split up among different horses. They've got about 250 retired thoroughbreds. You have to have raced or trained to race within the past year. They're trained for new careers. Rosie Napravnik has a horse that she's entering. A bunch of trainers, Graham Motion, Chad Brown, Todd Pletcher, all have former runners in this event. That starts next week as a prelude to the Breeders' Cup, and it is just phenomenal. I love the program, and it continues to grow. As I mentioned, now a $100,000 purse up for grabs, but this time for jumping, dressage, cross-country, barrel racing, anything you can imagine. A great showcase for OTTBs.
Well, let's get right into today's card. This one, 1 mile on the turf, claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races in life, $8,000. And as we mentioned, we're starting today with a good turf course, and we got a jockey change to report here on number 6, Make the Rider, Matthew Rispoli. I'm going to go back and show you the performance of a horse back this is Starship Rocky's last performance?
This is Starship Rocky's last race. This is back on October 3rd over at Gulfstream Park. I thought this was a really nice effort. He has a little bit of trouble. You're looking at the 5 here. Makes a bit along the rail, but has to steady late. He's going to end up finishing 5th, but that's because you see he has to take up here, really loses some momentum as the horses come over on him on the inside. That was his first start against winners. I thought it was a pretty promising effort. He was coming along there late before he ran into the trouble. So I thought for that reason we should show the video and that he's worth putting somewhere on the ticket, especially on your super high 5 ticket. Looks like you used him as well, Ron. We both put him second.
I put him in second. Now, you did use the number 2 on top of You Haven't Third, and that is Super Zapper. This one is stretching out to a mile on the grass, responding last time out to both the drop in competition and the addition of blinkers with a 2 1/4 length victory against $10,000 maidens going 7.5 furlongs. That was on the main track. He's a son of Ghost Zapper. He's certainly bred to handle the surface switch today. So I went with a horse that's going to try to turf. I liked its performance last time out. Number 9, Starship Rocky, for all the reasons you mentioned. And the horse that you have on top, 8, Chevron Light, on paper is the logical choice. I just couldn't get over this horse running second all the time at double-digit odds.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. But this one has really improved his form tenfold with a return to the turf course. 2 starts back, got into a duel while 3 wide, was second, only beaten 3/4 of a length, and that was at astronomical odds for trainer David Brownlee. But then he came back and he legitimized that performance. And he placed third. He was only beaten 1.25 lengths. Gets a break in the weights. From a buyer perspective, his numbers are tops in this group, so I had to give him the edge. But I think we have the right 3 horses here. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the 3 won. Super Zapper is bred on the sire side for the grass, but the Dam never raced on turf, or this one never raced on turf. The Dam 0 for 5 on turf.
Well, let's go to the second race today. 1 mile and 70 yards. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2 races live. $6,250. Scratch number 4, Carolus Boy, and that was the morning line favorite in there. Was not my top selection, so I stayed with the number 3. They came to see me. This one is stretching out to 1 mile 70 yards. After breaking from the rail, he finished the workman-like 5th behind a pair of next out winners in that race that was going a 1-turn mile across town. Joe Orsino, Luca Panicci handing the stretch out today to around 2 turns, 1 mile 70 yards, a distance that's been run here at Gulfstream Park West for years and years when it was formerly Calder. So it's a distance that anybody in South Florida that followed racing over the last 20 years knows about the mile 70 yard races at Gulfstream Park West. We don't run it too much over at Gulfstream Park. We run a couple, but not as many. Who'd you put on your ticket?
I went with the 2, Whiskey Cures Ugly. Running back off 8 days rest, faded to 6 at this level on October 9th, but it was on a sloppy track. He had never hit the board on a wet track prior to that start, and he still hasn't. He just doesn't like it. But in his previous start, he broke his maiden by a very convincing 2.5 lengths, and that was going 1 mile and a 16th, very close to this 1 mile and 70 yard distance.
Yeah, we both threw in the 5. JC Universal stretching out today to this distance after rallying late in the slop, finished 4th. That was at a mile. Race number 3 today, 7.5 furlongs on the turf, maiden special weight. These are 2-year-olds. We do have 2 scratch in here, the number 3 and the number 4. The number 4, the second choice on the morning line. I went with the number 6, Yorkshire Inn, and I'll tell you why. Turning back slightly to 7.5 furlongs after I thought what looked like a winning move. Hung a little bit in that race, finished third against Similar, going 1 mile on the Gulfstream Park turf. Phil Gleaves has Edgar Zayas in the saddle. He's got 2 in this race, and jockey Jose Caraballo is going to stick with the horse you have on top, and that is Fast Fire.
And that was part of my angle. Jose Caraballo, the top call rider for Phil Gleaves, he rode both Fast Fire and Yorkshire in their previous races. He chooses to ride Fast Fire today. This one making just his 2nd career start, so lots of room to improve. Stretching out to 2 turns, made a 3 wide bid to finish 2nd, 4.5 lengths ahead of the show horse, so a very solid 2nd in his career debut. The winner didn't come back to fare all that well, but it was in a stake. This one, by War Chant, should want to go longer on the turf course.
Number 7, Audacious. It's not spelled like audacious, but that's what they're trying to say, so it's audacious. This one makes her career debut with a couple of bullet workouts on the farm showing. This is the son of Artie Schiller, and he is bred to run like a lawnmower that ran amok on the turf course. This one is really bred up and down on both sides to run well on the turf.
You have 1 of 2 in here for Jennifer Hayford Quiones, runs mostly in Tampa, only had about 17 starters this year, but she has 1 on the year, and like you mentioned, bred up and down for the grass by Artie Schiller out of a French-bred mare who ran pretty much exclusively in turf rounds.
Yeah, certainly screams turf. Let's go to race number 4, 1 mile and 70 yards. Claimers, 3-year-olds and up, 6,250. There's that mile 70 yards again. Scratch the 3, Commander Tate. Also scratch the outside horse, number 10, Storm Warnings. Katie, you went with the number 7 in here, and that's a Be a Wilder Cat.
This one owns a previous win over the surface, running for a hot trainer-rider combo in Marcus Vitale and Matt Rispoli. Looks to be the lone speed in this spot. Last time out, dueled on the front end, faded to 3rd as the favorite. Think he can run like a favorite should today.
Yeah, we're basically in agreement. We have our horses flip-flopped around. I went with the number 4, El Gran Joyful, in top. 7 for 10 in the money on this track. 10 starts, 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 3/3. Returns, stretches out to the distance we've been talking about over the last couple of races. After rallying to finish 2nd, it was going a 1-turn mile across town. Bernardo Lopez, Diego Gomez handling, we're going to call this for this horse a homecoming.
Yes, certainly. You could say the same thing, though, for Sir Sparky. He's a 4-time winner here and at this distance for trainer Alfred McIntosh, returning to that barn today. launched his bid from just off the pace last time out, then dueled to the wire, finished third, only beat in a half length. That was going a mile and a 16th at Gulfstream on September 20th.
Talking about changing barns, this one changes barns every other race. Goes from Ralph Zadie back to McIntosh, back Ralph Zadie, back McIntosh. Pretty interesting there, but that number one, so Sparky, as you mentioned, 34 races here over its career, so certainly knows how to get around this track at this distance. Let's go to race number 5 today. 5 furlongs on the turf and allowance. Fillies and mares 3 and up. Non-winners of a race other than, and we have number 3 scratched near. Meet Me for a Smoke. Also both main track only participants, number 8 and number 9. And we want to go back and show you the performance of the horse that Katie has on top of her ticket, and that's number 7, Our Liberty Bay.
The scratch of Beat Me for a Smoke is a pretty significant scratch in here, and I think that opens it up for this one. 3R, Liberty Bay, the number 3 that day, the number 7 today. I liked this performance. Came on pretty well, gonna hold on for second. The winner that day, a stakes place runner for the Marty Wolfson barn in Red Minx, who just comes flying on the outside. Our Liberty Bay probably didn't even see her that day and holds on for second down along the inside. I thought this one just had the most turf sprinting experience. I really loved her 2 runner-up efforts over the summer to Perfect Step, who won 4 in a row and won the Hard Worker Stakes. Should sit just off the pace, could really sit the trip today behind Pelagia, Tar and Feather, and Belladini.
Yeah, and I just thought that this horse got, the horse that won that last race got a perfect setup, because if you look at the early fractions of that race, was 22 flat and 44 and 4, and the horse came running late and everything like that. So I think this horse fits well. But I like the 6 in here, and that's Pursuing Fate. This one is turning back to 5 furlongs after tracking the pace and fading to finish a distant 5th, but it was behind a couple of our favorite horses in here, and one of them, of course, being Katie's Kiss, and the next out stakes winner called Moment of Delight. That was in the 1 mile, $150,000 Florida Sire Jewel Princess. Mike Maker, Rafael Hernandez atop this. This is Speedy Daughter of Insummation, turning back to 5/8. Don't think this horse has to be on the lead today. I think he can carve out a stalking trip. Pursuing Faith on top of my ticket. I'm glad to see you used it too, and I have that horse you mentioned too as my long shot today. I liked it better when Meet Me for a Smoke was in there, but that is the 2 Pelagia.
Yeah, I have the 5 Belladini in here. You used your long shot in here, and I think that one definitely has a shot as well. But I went with the 5 in second. That's Belladini. This one vied for the lead, faded to 6th behind Our Liberty Bay in that race on September 26th. But it was her first start since last October, so I think should be fitter and might not be quite as keen for the lead, making that second start off the layoff.
Well, yeah, well, let's go back to Belize just for a second. Making the second start off a 2-month freshening. She went out there and was wing-dinging it, backed up behind the Red Minx in that race, and it was running stakes company for Edgar Zayas rides today, second off the bench. I just thought it was a speed play in there, but a lot of speed in there. I loved Meet Me for a Smoke in that race, but I'm not going to play it today because the race set up perfectly for a closer, and that might happen again today. Let's go to race number 6, 7 furlongs, maiden special weight, 2-year-olds. We do have a scratch in here of number 6, Traffic Express. We want to go back and show you the performance of the horse that we both have on top, and that is number 9, Aggressive Driver.
This is the career debut for Aggressive Driver back on September 26th, a maiden special weight. This horse duels to the wire, finishes second. He's only beaten a neck. You see he's the 3 here. He's got the lead, but the horses are coming behind him. He's just getting a little bit leg weary here. It's his first start, so, might not be quite as sharp, and now has that experience and fitness under his belt. I thought that was a pretty impressive effort for a barn that really doesn't run all that many 2-year-olds. They've only run 3 2-year-olds this year. That's the Oscar Gonzalez barn. Turning a bullet move on October 9th in a minute flat to tune up for this, and I think just should work out for him today.
Yeah, and I like the fact that, horse runs well, and you say, okay, is he going to bounce a little bit, but he comes back with that bullet work. Looks like he's still feeling okay. So number 9, Aggressive Driver, a logical choice, but I really think that the number 1, Happy's Causeway, is going to be a major player in here. This one now in the Marty Wolfson barn, stretches out to 7 furlongs after rallying to finish 4th. It was a key 5.5 furlong dash that produced a pair of next out winners, including a horse called Kokomo Wildcat, who broke his maiden here, and he broke it impressively. He broke it by like 7 lengths that day. The new connections today tapped Jonathan Gonzalez to ride, and the new connections, Marty Wilson, he's not new to this part of the country, and I just thought they'd run well in there. Jonathan Gonzalez riding in great form. Happy's Causeway on my ticket. He's actually 3rd choice on the morning line.
Yeah, my only concern was that one going to a very good barn, but also coming out of a very good barn, the Ralph Nix barn. So we'll see if he can move forward for the new connections. But the old connections certainly were capable of having him win as well.
Exactly.
So I threw in the 3 Graphite Strike, and I'm doing an equipment change angle here, getting the blinkers off today. Last time out, added the blinkers, dueled up on the lead, tired to third, just behind aggressive driver, and turned in a bullet move to tune up for the start as well.
Yeah, the bullet work in about a minute, a little over a minute in there in preparation for the rematch with the horse that we both have on top of our ticket. And you also used the number 2 in here, and that is Equine Perfection.
Yeah, this is a first-time starter that I found a little intriguing. He's a son of Pulpit and a 5-time winning stakes place mare. Really training forwardly here at Gulfstream Park West. 8 published works, including 2 bullets. He's actually a half to Grade 1 winning millionaire lion tamer who won the Grade 1 Cigar Mile back in 2004.
Race number 7 this afternoon, 1 mile on the turf. These are maiden claimants, fillies and mares, 3-year-olds, and up $12,500. Lost a couple of horses in here myself, and that was the 5 and the 6. That is hard to picture. Minnie Ashley, 5 and 6 will not be racing today. Certainly looks makes number 9 Starship Bellagio look awful strong.
Absolutely. I like Starship Bellagio to begin with, but with the scratches, I think it just makes an even bigger case for her. Last time out, she broke awkwardly, got shuffled back to last at the break. That was on September 25th. Then she made a 5-wide rally to get up for third. I watched this race a couple times. Honestly, I wasn't thrilled with the energy that she closed with, but she did get caught wide and overcame a lot. The scratches help her even more. The race should set up for her.
Number 3, Cassidy's Valentine, 1 for 3 in the money on the turf, goes back after hitting the board in 1 of 2 recent 6-furlong sprints on the main track. It's the 3rd start off the bench. Luca Panici rides today. The scratches of the 5 and 6 are going to help this horse immensely this afternoon. It's going back to the turf. There is reason to believe this horse can run well on the turf. Of course, it already has, so I threw that one on my ticket. Who else did you use?
I threw in the 7 Lady Houston, an Irish bred, making her 2nd start for Juan Rodriguez. 6th at the level and distance in her debut, but broke really slowly that day. Broke from the far outside, spotted the field several lengths, and again with the scratches, finds an excellent spot to improve.
Let's go to race number 8 this afternoon. 5.5 furlongs, maiden claiming fillies, 2-year-olds, $12,500. Full field of 10 runners, and once again, I want to remind you, we're having so much fun with the rolling super high fives throughout the afternoon, and when they get this big 10-horse fields, makes it even more fun. It's been paying great, and as I say, each race that has over 7 or more contestants in it, there is a rolling super high 5 here at Gulfstream Park West. With that said, as mentioned, it's 5.5 furlongs. Going to go back and show you the performance of the horse that both Katie and Hat are interested in here, and that's number 4. She's on Duty.
This one turning back a 16th of a mile today, and that should play to her strengths because she took the lead into the stretch here and finished as 2nd. This was going 3/4 of a mile, just tires late. Hasn't finished off the board in her 3-race career. Again, I think this turn back you see here, just getting caught late at the wire. On paper, there's no other speed here, so with that speed, with the turn back, it should all play out to work out for today.
Yeah, it looks pretty good for her in this spot. The other horse that I used, Katie used in 2nd too, is the 3 Sultry Town Cat, who's plummeting to this $12,500 level on the dirt. Showed some early interest and faded against maiden special weight competition. That was going a mile on the turf. That did not work out. Trainer Dave Brady has Edgard's eyes handling the free fall today. Through the maiden ranks, they're looking for a spot for this horse to run, and I think this might be it.
I agree. I think it is the right spot. She's found the appropriate level of competition. Did not like the turf last time out, but 2 back, she was 4th, just behind She's on Duty against $35,000 maiden claimers.
Yeah, and you also used the 2 in here, and she's a city gal.
Gets blinkers back on today for Grover Wheeler Jr. Broke poorly, never really gave herself a chance last time out, but 2 starts back at this distance, closed from 10th to get up for 2nd. She had blinkers on that day, so I think this equipment switch is going to help her.
Number 8, Danny Darlins, is getting some class relief after breaking from a really tough post. That was post 12, stalking the pace mid-pack in that race, fading to finish 7th, but it was a $25,000 debut at the distance. I think this is a level where this horse might be able to show some progress and get the job done. That's on the outside. Well, not all the way on the outside, and that's number 8, Danny Darlins. Number 9, race number 9, that is 7.5 furlongs on the grass. We mentioned at the top of the show, the turf course is listed as good. Fillies and mares, 3 and up, non-winners of 2 in life, $10,000. 8 runners, no scratches, no jockey changes. We both went with the number 8, Ansi Dad, who's dropping a rung today on the claiming ladder after coming within a half length of winning her local turf debut. That was against $12,500 two lifetime claimers.
Hard to believe that we're picking this horse on top after the way she began her career. Was 0 for 23, broke her maiden in her 23rd career start, but then she came right back and followed it up with that very respectable finish against winner. She should sit the trip again today. If you look on the form, there is that glaring 0 for 6 here at Gulfstream Park West, but now she has figured things out. I think she's a different filly than she was then.
Number 4, New York Jockey, must be respected on her ability to control the pace at this 7.5 furlong distance. You look at that last one, opened up that quick 3-length lead before finishing second, her local turf debut. That was going a mile. It was against $8,000 two lifetime foes. She went up there, had an early lead, and I think it was too early for her, so I think throttled her back a little bit. Should help number 4, New York Jockey. And we both used the number 7, and that is Pat M's Image.
Facing winners for the first time today after breaking her maiden here last week for Rodolfo Garcia. So obviously likes it here as a daughter of Leroy de Senemo. She's bred for this, but she is turning back off short rest.
Yeah, and ridden today by Edgar Zayas. The final race on Saturday afternoon, a 10th race, 6.5 furlongs. Maiden claim is 3 and up, $10,000. Scratch the 1, the 4, the 15, and the 16. And then it's an unpublished work on the number 2 horse in there, and that is Karmic at Gulfstream Park West right here on the 10th, I believe, of October, and that was a 50.60 breezing. But our track announcer, Pete Aiello, will update you on all the scratches, changes, and missed works that you need to have a fun day here. Love this horse on top. Number 5, Novak, my best bet of the day. I'll tell you why. Dropping to the $10,000 level after rallying to finish 3rd behind. Next out winners, Social Roy and Pure Talent, and in front of another winner, and that was Black Venus. That was a fruitful $20,000 maiden test, going 3/4 of a mile in the slop. Here's the key, Ralph Nix, going to be ridden today by Jesus Rios, as we mentioned, Tyler Gaffleone up at Laurel riding in the Maryland Million today. So Novak, key race, dropping down, Ralph Nix, bang, boom, go to the window.
Putting the stamp on it, I have it on top as well. Like you mentioned, coming out of a trademark Ron Nicoletti key race, and he got fanned 6 wide in that race, so he could have run even better with those other next out winners. This is a great spot for him. I'm going the window.
There you go. She's going to the window. I also used the 9, and Katie used the 9, and then that's BF Forever, making his local return after ending his spring campaign at Gulfstream Park during April with back-to-back second-place finishes against 12-5 maidens. It's Stanley Gold. That means you got to pay attention.
Yeah, he had another long shot winner yesterday with, of course, in our co-featured allowance. This one working very well for the return when 5/8 in 1:03 on October 9th. That's a very nice work for a horse that's going to be running at this level.
Well, tell me about this 12 horse that you have in second, all the way on the outside, but not all the way, but almost on the outside.
Tonight from the Wesley Ward barn, actually making his debut for this barn, getting the blinkers off. This is a former $200,000 daughter of Pioneer of the Nile. Hasn't run since February. Turned in back-to-back third-place efforts at Aqueduct against $20,000 maiden claimers. Running for the old horse whisperer today. Wesley Ward just so good at turning horses around and has been working very well for the new barn. A bullet half a mile on October 2nd. 47-3.
Well, you know, we have the Rolling Super High Five, as we mentioned. We're going to have one in his 10th race in a horse I think you got to pay attention to is the number 3, El Kraken. Moved to the Ramon Mora Bon Vita claim, cutting back to 6.5 furlongs after setting the pace, finishing second as the favorite. That was against $10,000 maidens. That was going a 1-turn mile across town at Gulfstream Park. But trainer Ramon Mora got this really interesting guy riding this horse today. Him. So he's not only the trainer, he is the rider. So this horse, El Kraken, I think, off that performance, he's going to be a little bit ignored. He's not ignored on the morning line. He's going to be ignored because people are not going to know who the trainer or who the jockey is, even though they're one and the same. But a horse, I think, has got to be on the Super High Five ticket.
When you look at the program, it is not a typo. It's not a double take. Ramon Moya is training and riding this horse. Pretty interesting angle.
10 races today, a fast main track, a good turf course. Good luck with all your selections this afternoon. And Katie and I will be back in like a minute or two.